Right, we continue then with reaction to the passing of Minister in the Presidency, Jackson Mthembu. Really, even political foes expressing their condolences and sadness this afternoon. Our line was earlier cut as we're chatting with DA leader John Steenhuisen. John, thank you very much for talking to us again. Unfortunately, that line did break with us as I was getting to the point of the fact that the FF Plus leader, Peter Groenewald, was talking about the fact that he will remember Mr. Jackson Mthembu as someone who was always friendly, always respected other people, regardless of political views and the fact that you might be political foes, and expressed the fact that he was a hard worker. And I wonder if these are some of the views that you would also share as Mr. Groenewald did this afternoon, Mr. Steenhuisen.
I never regarded him as an opponent or an enemy. He was always a very worthy adversary.
Yeah.
And the great thing about him was his ability to reach across the aisle and to find compromise in Parliament on a number of key issues. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on in Parliament that the public never sees. In the Chief Whip's Forum, in the programming committee, in the various committee rooms of Parliament. And a place like Parliament doesn't work without that compromise. And he was excellent at bringing people with divergent opinions around the table and to come out with a compromise, and often spiced up with some of this devastatingly good humour, which he used to incredible effect to diffuse tension and get people on board. I mean, I made some incredible concessions while I was the Chief Whip of the opposition as a result of his charm and his ability to get people to to get round an idea.
Yeah.
But he was also a very brave person, and I think people forget those last dying months of the Zuma presidency, where he openly stood up for what was wrong and what was going wrong, and defied his own party leader, and marshaled Parliament towards ensuring that the right things were done in terms of the motion of no confidence. That's also then precipitating the step down that we saw. Those were incredibly difficult days, and he showed immense bravery and patriotism at that time, which I certainly will always remember and regard as an admirable trait of his as well.
Yeah, a lot of people, as I look at social media, are saying things like, it's becoming real in terms of, COVID-19 was always real. But I mean, the fact that we now have lost a minister in the presidency kind of makes it, we kind of see that, this virus can really touch anybody. Nobody is above this virus. I mean, just hearing the news and the fact that, the minister had passed away from COVID-related complications. I mean, what was your first initial reaction to that? Of course, you've expressed your sadness this afternoon, but just in terms of that, the fact that really anybody can be affected by this virus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously personally devastating as well. I mean, we had really built up a good working friendship, and, we were messaging each other just 2 nights ago on WhatsApp. I sent him a message to see how he was doing. He was really struggling, and I just wished him well and said, you'll get over this. And I think that the point to make is that there's no discrimination with COVID. It can really hit anybody, which is even, I think that out of this death, if it does one thing, it must marshal us all towards beating this dreadful virus and chasing it from our shores, because we're going to lose many, many good people if we don't take decisive action against defeating COVID-19. It really has robbed us now of one of the people that South Africa desperately needed to build and get the country working again. And it is a huge loss, and it's on a personal level devastating, and I think devastating for the country as well. Yeah,
and I can hear that you were quite close to him indeed, and I'll pass my condolences to you as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Steenhuisen. A pleasure speaking to you again.
Thank you.